name is Shanaea Terrell. I'm from Swedesboro, New Jersey, which is country, now suburbs, so I didn't get a chance to grow up in the inner city. But what I want people to understand that even in the suburbs and the country, there is poverty there. There's resources that we do need that some families don't get. My childhood, growing up, I had some stressors and some blessers. My dad was addicted to heroin and he later died, and my mother dropped out of school at an early age, middle school. And so I was raised with my grandparents primarily and my mother. She had us young, but growing up, they didn't really stress too much about education or post-education, going to college. They said finish high school, stay out of trouble, and just get a job. You know, hard labor, especially my papa. He worked for Del Monte. He was like, just get somewhere and work. And so growing up in a country or suburbs area, all the other kids around me were going off to college and planning, and I didn't have that support, that setup. In fact, my guidance counselor said, you're not college material, because I went through remedial classes mainly throughout my life, and so some of my grades were not good, but I did go to college and I did get into Cheney University. But I really didn't like it. And so I would make up holidays just to come home. And my family would be looking at the calendar, no, and they would drive me back. And 2 years into it, I wasn't comfortable with the environment. It wasn't the academic, it was just, I lived such a sheltered life at home in the country. And then I got out there and I started seeing some things and I just wasn't comfortable. So, but I ended up getting pregnant with my oldest son, Zion. I came home and reality hit me. I had a baby, no job, didn't finish my education, and I moved back home with my family. But I ended up in the welfare line and I was denied 3 times. So not only was I not getting help from the state, my family really wasn't, they couldn't really help me. And so I had this baby, we didn't have any health insurance, it was just a struggle for like the first 6 months. But I ended up getting welfare, and I remember standing in line and telling the lady, I'm not like everybody else, I want help. I want to go back to school. And the state didn't have programs where they can send me back to college. They had the Work First, I think, program, where they allowed you to get some type of training. And I didn't want training, I wanted to go back to college. But I took the training anyway. I did everything they asked me to. I got my son into childcare. I got the transportation. I went to Harris School of Business. I received my legal secretary certificate. And that did land me working for an attorney and working for the public defender's office. But legal, it wasn't where I wanted to be. So I went off to community college. And when I left there, I had my second son, Amari. And I still wanted more. And if it wasn't for my kids, having my kids, they saved me. Sometimes your children save you. And it gave me a purpose and a direction. My kids later on enrolled in the Head Start program. And I knew I wanted to be that parent that I wanted to know when they were brushing their teeth, when they had a teacher conference, if they were acting up, I was going to be that parent to show up at that school. And so the Head Start director was like, okay, we have a parent that wants to be that's involved, and so let's get her on the committee. And I was like, oh, I don't have that much time. And, I'm out here working and I can't sit in meetings and things like that. But she coerced me to do it, and I did it. And had I known that signing that piece of paper, because what you guys all don't know, I don't like public speaking. It's my biggest fear, and this is my first time doing it. So thank you. So I said, I don't want to speak in front of people. I don't want to lead people. I need to be led. And so I did it, and it led me to here. But I'm going to backtrack. My children went through the Head Start program. My youngest son, he had a speech delay. And prior to going to Head Start, he got early intervention from the state. And we took him to all kinds of doctors, and we just never knew if he was going to ever speak. And he didn't start speaking until he was 3.5. But the early intervention helped some of the neurons and protons and the synapses fire But it wasn't until he got into a social setting where he had other children that were speaking, or other children that had other gifts, and they all were like, yeah, I can do that too, and oh yeah, let me show you this. So he had other children showing him what it's like to be a 3-year-old. And he started to talk, I'll never forget, and now I can't shut him up. But, but the words, I mean, we literally were counting the words. He has 10 words, he has 15 words, he has 20 words. And then now he talks more than I do. But we paired up. Head Start program was an all-day program, but I was out there researching what other services my child can have. And early intervention hooked me up with the school district, so my child was Head Start for half a day, and then they bused him to the school district where he got speech, occupational therapy, and some other different therapies. And it was hard. When you cannot communicate, especially as a young child, you have, I hate to say behavioral, but he had tantrums. The teacher would tell him no, and he didn't understand what no was. He wanted to do a particular thing. And so I had to literally be involved every step of the way and reinforce. If he did something at the end of the day, I had to reinforce his behavior at home. And so you have to partner up with whatever care provider that you're working with, schools, Head Start, to reinforce what's going on at home. I mean, you are your child's first advocate. And so just doing that, my son overcame behavioral issues. He doesn't have any tantrums, and I'm always checking, like, in his IEPs, how is he doing behavior-wise? Oh, he's a doll, we love him. But he still sometimes has little meltdowns, and he's 6 now, he'll be 7. But my son has come a long ways. And a lot of that has to do with my involvement. Before, I wasn't attending IEPs because I was working, I couldn't get off, or I just was overwhelmed with being a mom and having 2 small children on my own. But later on, when they started to make decisions that I kind of wasn't comfortable with, I started to show up to those IEPs, and I started asking other professionals about IEPs. And now I'm there before they even get there to the circle, to the table. And I'm coming there with my knowledge, and I'm researching things. And I'm being an advocate. And I also said that I want my son to be part of his IEP meeting. And so with that, next year he'll be old enough to participate in his IEP and to make some decisions on his own, because we have to give them their responsibility too, where their life is going. You have to teach them at an early age. And so I'm going to touch upon a Head Start. So Head Start was kind of like my door to being successful and to being a parent leader. I served on their parent committee. I served on the policy council as president as well, vice president, secretary, and I got to serve on their board of directors for Gateway Community Action Partnership. And at a conference last year, Carolyn Robinson, who is an amazing mentor for Gateway, she was like, oh, I need to find project coordinator for County Council for Young Children, and my job was driving me crazy at the time of 7 years being there. I said, well, you know what, I'll interview for it. And I knew I just received my master's last year in human service. So I knew I was qualified for it, and I got the position, and I've been in this position for Gloucester County Council for Young Children for 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks, and I'm enjoying it. I love helping, and that's my purpose. I found my purpose at 30, is helping and sharing information. And the shared information and shared vision is so important because people need to come together all over the world. The United Nations, CEOs, big corporations, they come together in meetings like we are now to share information. Sharing information is so powerful because you don't know the person that you're helping and what they may need. You may have that puzzle piece to what they need. I had a parent come in before yesterday, and she was crying. She needed some services, and I'm listening to what she needed, and what I went through is what she needed. And I was able to pull her aside and say, this is the steps you need to take. Not only would you like to be part of our parent committee for CCYC, and she said, sure, I'd love to. And just that connection, shared information, I got a parent to come in. And so I just want to encourage all providers and parents to be patient. Even if that parent is going through something, you know, they still have something to bring to the table, and you have something to bring to the table. And I know I ran out of time, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Jen.